Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're going to ignore the big flashy screens for a minute and look at the stuff behind the wall. The invisible gear that keeps a professional AV setup from, completely falling apart. You know that feeling, right?
Mm.
You're in a conference room, you plug in a laptop, and just nothing. Black screen. Searching for signal.
Oh, that's the nightmare scenario for any tech.
Exactly. So we're looking at a piece of kit designed to prevent exactly that. It's the Key Digital KD-MS4X4G-2. It's a 4-input, 4-output HDMI matrix switch.
And it's a pretty serious one. This is aimed squarely at installations where you just can't have failure. Think sports bars, command centers, that kind of thing.
Now, I think most of you listening know what a matrix switch is. We don't need to explain that sending 4 sources to 4 displays is useful. The problem with the cheap ones isn't the routing, it's the lag. It's the handshake failures when you start mixing different devices.
Right.
So why is this unit worth looking at over some generic switch you can get online for a fraction of the price?
It really all comes down to how it handles that digital negotiation. But before we even get into that, we have to talk about the sheer size of the pipe. This thing is pushing an 18 gigabit per second signal bandwidth.
Which feels like the magic number these days, doesn't it? I mean, if you're not hitting 18 gigs, you're not really doing 4K.
You're not doing it without compromises, for sure. That bandwidth is what lets you do true Ultra HD, up to 4D96 by 2160, without, seeing nasty compression artifacts.
And it also gets you the headroom for high dynamic range.
Yes. HDR10, Dolby Vision, the works.
I'm glad you brought that up because HDR is something people overlook in commercial installs. But for digital signage, that difference between the brights and the darks, it matters way more than just counting pixels.
It absolutely does. It stops everything from looking washed out. But look, a pretty picture is useless if the signal drops every 5 minutes. And that's where Key Digital talks about their full buffer system.
Okay, I have to stop you. Full buffer system sounds a lot like marketing fluff. Like it sounds like they're just saying it buffers the video. Is there some actual engineering there?
It is a marketing term, you're right, but the tech behind it is solid. It's really a 3-part attack on signal loss. First up is TMDS reclocking.
Which is just signal regeneration, right? Cleaning it up.
Think of it like a game of telephone. A signal travels down a long cable, it gets a little mumbled. The reclocking listens to that mumbled signal, cleans it up, and then shouts it out perfectly clearly to the display.
So it's fixing the grammar in real time, but that doesn't solve the EDI'd handshake, where the laptop and the projector just stare at each other.
That's the second part. This box has an internal library with 15 different EDI'd configurations for each input, so it basically fakes the handshake instantly. Your laptop thinks it's already talking to a perfect display, which creates stability before the signal even leaves the matrix.
Ah, that's the feature that saves the IT guy from getting a panic phone call. Okay, let's pivot to audio, because usually audio is just a prisoner of the HDMI stream.
And that's a disaster for installers. You can't have the audio for a major presentation coming out of some tinny little projector speaker.
No way. And this unit looks like it creates a jailbreak for the audio. It has independent audio de-embedding.
Which is vital. You can send the video to the screen, but you strip the audio out and send it over, say, 6-pin balanced connectors or an optical cable straight to a real amplifier.
And we're not just stuck with stereo, are we? If I'm building a high-end screening room, I'm going to need the big formats.
You're totally covered. It passes through Dolby Atmos, DTS HD Master Audio, DTS:X, all the good stuff. It treats the audio like it matters.
Nice. Okay, so for the control freaks out there, and I say that with love, nobody is physically walking over to a rack to push buttons on this.
No, this thing lives in a closet. It's got a web UI for setup, sure, but for the pros, it has an open API. You can control it with TCP/IP or RS-232, so it'll just plug right into a Crestron or a Control4 system and do exactly what it's told.
So let's get to the bottom line. You're looking at about, $1,300, $1,325 for this box? For a home user, that's a lot. But for a professional...
It's the price of insurance. You're not paying for a switch. You're paying to make sure that when the CEO clicks to the next slide, the slide actually shows up. You're paying for the reclocking and the EDI management that makes the whole system just invisible.
It really does highlight how much we take for granted. You see an image on a screen, but you don't see the little digital war being fought against signal degradation and licensing handshakes happening behind the wall.
That's the whole point. If we do our jobs right, you never even know the hardware is there.
So here's a thought to leave you with. The next time you see a giant video wall in an airport or a stadium switch scenes in an instant, Just think about the invisible negotiation happening in that 1 millisecond. The licensing checks, the signal cleaning, the pixel mapping. It's like a tiny digital diplomatic summit happening at the speed of light, just so you can see the picture. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.